Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining my talk. My name is Andriana Mourti. I am Greek, and I'm working as an IT engineer here. I'm currently in Geneva, in beautiful Switzerland. And one of the things that I love about this gathering is that we all have some particular experiences with languages, right? And we are so passionate about them. We wish to share them, all those experiences. So I will talk to you about mine, and I just wanted to show you what I learned. And this subject, the subject of untranslatable words, is close to my heart. So I'm pretty sure that most of you have been there, right? When you felt in that way that you couldn't explain, a happy feeling or even a negative feeling, right? And if only there was a word for it, you know? This is what I wanted to share with you today. It would be great, right, if you knew that, to put a name to what you feel so that you can feel better. So the ability to experience and understand some things like emotions or just other experiences, it is limited sometimes by our language and the words that we have available, right? After this talk, you will understand how valuable, favorable, as I like to say, those untranslatable words are for your life. And actually, it's one of the ways, maybe not the ultimate way, but it's like one of the small ways to improve your well-being. This is my goal. I will share with you also why they're unique, like where they are coming from and their connection with culture. And of course, in the middle, I will give you in between, during my talk, some examples, because I just really couldn't wait actually to make you as well excited about some of my favorite so-called untranslatable words. So when I was on a trip with friends in Belgrade in Serbia 2 years ago, looking at this beautiful view from the Kalemegdan Park, then we had a coffee and I stopped for a moment to think. And I wanted to identify how I feel. And I asked myself, how do you feel now, Adriana? And yeah, I do that often, actually. And I actually couldn't exactly describe it. It was, of course, some kind of a happy sensation, some form of a happy sensation. But it felt so distinctive from other kinds of feelings of enjoyment and happiness. Just like, for example, when you are selected among thousands for a scholarship, right? That will change your life, or even a trip that you do with your partner. So after some time, I discovered some book about words that can be translated into English. And I read about the Bosnian Serbo-Croatian word rahatluk, which is about when all feels sweet and moraes. And it actually comes from the word rahat lokum, which is the Turkish delight. So I loved actually that I found a word to describe that feeling in the same language from that same country, right? I was fascinated, and I reminded myself to hold on to those cherished moments with friends and the importance of friendship. That is a value in life for happiness. What do you think? So in theory, what are untranslatable words? Well, it's the words that will lack an exact equivalent in English or each other person's language. Okay, sometimes actually through my research, I found there are some words in one language and there is a similar word in another language. But here we are talking about semantic gaps. So it's when we are lacking this handy word to express what we want to say. And we can give a meaning, but maybe the people who gave us the word might not always be satisfied by it. And for example, I like to connect the definition of those words with the Portuguese word desenrascar, and it actually means it's an informal word about the act of figuring out things. And probably you were ready this year to start your vacation for the summer like this. Or you thought it would be like this. And this act of walking on tiptoes across warm sand is called in the Bantu language haniauku. Okay, it's a little bit difficult to pronounce. I'm sorry for my pronunciation. But actually, it ended up like this. And this we can relate to, right? It's as it's called in English, FOMO. It's a very popular word, probably you know it. It's this fear of missing out, right? We had plans to do. We had the trips we canceled, or we didn't know when this will end, and we had this feeling of missing out opportunities, exciting events. So as you can see, also English has untranslatable words. And I became so fascinated about it. And as I realized that this opens a door for me to learn more about myself from how other people express something. And I kept searching for more. And I found so many resources about those words, and I found that there are so many common feelings and experiences that we couldn't before give a name to, or even discover unknown feelings and experiences. And actually, I think you will agree with me that life is like a collection of so many diverse things. There are so many feelings, moods, experiences, and many more that English or each one's language has not yet clearly given us. So for me, living abroad and in an international environment like here in Geneva, it has been one of the most rewarding personal and professional experiences in my life. And meeting people from other cultures gave me the opportunity to discover other perspectives from for the same problems, actually, and about all those things that make these people different. And yeah, we are all unique, and we all have incredible things to offer, I believe, to the rest of the world. And I'm sure many of you had the chance to be abroad, right? Meet people from other countries, other cultures, and discover the world, and probably yourself. And for those actually who still haven't, I encourage you to try to have an experience abroad. I promise you will return back home so fulfilled. And I bet actually that you won't see the world the way you once did. After all the new experiences you had, and by being exposed to people from different lives, right, to other cultures, it's almost inevitable to not challenge your values and your limits. So before this exposure, I was living, I can say, in such a small world with so many borders, and I felt that this familiarity around me and understanding was not challenging enough. And I started to feel that I wanted to get to know people outside my familiar experiences and understandings and live new things. And I wanted to open up to something bigger, to the world, and discover it. Like, I was asking myself, what is out there? How are others thinking? What can their difference offer me? How are others dealing with the same problem as me? How are they expressing their feelings for the same things as I do? I had a longing to discover the distant places. Just like the German word Fernweh describes as this desire to be far away to places you haven't been. It's one of my favorite untranslatable words. I can really relate to this word. And actually, the German language has a lot of them. And, you know, when I did that, when I put in my life such a variety of experiences and discoveries, is when I got passionate about other cultures, about other ways of thinking, you know, other ways to see the problem, other ways of expressing. And being in an international environment allowed me to live moments I didn't before, and to discover those ways and experiences that I couldn't put a name before. So now I would like to give you an example of one of those ways of how these words have an impact on my life. And I can say I was experiencing, it was a period that a really hard period, like everything was falling down. It was just a really, really sad period. And it was this night late, I was talking with my best friend, and you know, in the end she said, you still have so many reasons to wake up in the morning, so much passion for life. And I said, yeah, actually, I was experiencing ikigai. I knew that. It's a wonderful word that the Japanese give us. And that gave me power. And you might tell me, okay, of course it gave you power, what your friend told you, and me understanding it, but it was actually that what made me better, it was when I found a label of how positive things can also be, right, in life. So I guess you think that we are here because we have something in common, right? I would also like to add here one thing. Yes, we are also because, okay, we're not here, we are online, but we are all here connected in any case. Because we are different, right? We are all unique, and we share this uniqueness to the people, and everybody can learn from what our language has to offer. I'm talking about known and unknown feelings and experiences. And we should feel proud about our language. And the untranslatable words is what I want to say, is that they connect us. So for me, it is actually like a trip. Psychology agrees to this. When you find the right words to express, to explain how you feel, it helps you to identify yourself, understand it, adapt it. It is when you put challenges in your life and you become better. And we can find unknown opportunities to live a greater version of ourselves. And during the lockdown, you thought you would be to everything super productive, finish everything, but sometimes you ended up doing absolutely nothing. Just like the Dutch word "niksen," it means that, doing nothing, and it's actually connected. It's like a method to beat the burnout. And for those who stayed with their partner at home, it was also like gezellig, actually. We should know also that, you know, it's this, that we can express with a word this warmth about spending some time with someone we care about. And for those who were completely alone, like me, actually, they were maybe like this, desperate for people. And in the Dravidian, going to the window, you know, and you're just like, oh my God, I want to see people. In the Dravidian language, it's spoken from the Tamil people of India and Sri Lanka. Okay, this word, they have this word to describe this act, ituak tu inaktuk. Okay, it's really hard to pronounce, but it's very particular, right? And let's say that you were sick, hopefully not with the virus. But the Tamil people tell you, don't worry, you look beautiful. It's when you look beautiful, when you have a disease, this word, mai. To me, this word, it gives life. It gives light to the sadness caused from being sick. And now you might ask me, is any word really untranslatable? Well, I would say yes or no, actually. The general thing, we can portray it with some words or some sentences, you know, but we are talking about those semantic gaps, and it's this, we can still give a meaning even if we need some words or if we need some sentences. So that's why researchers and linguists argue with that translate about losing some translation. And there is one theory, it's called the Worfian theory, that it says that our thoughts come from our language, that all those thoughts that belong to a language can be understood only if you speak that language. So we know that we miss the 100% exact translation. Like even simple words like happy, for example, are not the same between languages. It's a thing that it's been discussed. But I believe that, yes, we can still miss some percentage, personally. And, you know, many say that how we talk shapes how we think. Why? Because we have actually, with language, we have a different perception of many things. One of them, for example, is color. Did you know that in Russian, there are 12 basic terms actually to represent color? There is no single word for the color blue, and the Russians have a light blue color called goluboy, if I pronounce it correct, and a dark blue color called sini. And yes, apart from perception, it's also how we think, and we can connect these things. So let's say that tomorrow you have a date, and you want to sleep well so that you can be very refreshed tomorrow in the morning. And when you wake up in the morning, when you feel this contentment, you know, of when you're well rested, you're experiencing morgenfrisk, as they say in Danish. And okay, so the story goes like that. You want to call your best friend to tell them what should I wear and all that, you know. But one particular detail. You don't have minutes in your phone and you want to call them so that they can call you back. The Czech have a word which is called prozvonit. And, you know, it's when you call someone and you're expecting them to call you back. So this is a modern experience. And do you see how we develop as humans? How we make language for those experiences? I don't know, maybe the Czech do that pretty often, right? We can let the Czech people tell us. Actually, I do that all the time. So we're talking about untranslatable words are actually about familiar and unfamiliar experiences. And in theory, it's about actually ways of looking at things for me. And in theory, why do we borrow words? Well, because we might have a new concept, because we have a new habit or a creation, or because it's just practical, you know, because we can express what we couldn't before. There are many things that are presented to a culture, and we don't have a word for it. And how do we make a lexical choice? Well, among the field that references to what we want to say, you know, this semantic thing, and we're trying to pick that word that suits the best of what we want to express. So like that, we can experience and witness something different. For example, about this, about the culture, did you know that before the fruit orange came from China to Europe, the orange color was called in English yellow red or red yellow, and the color orange actually, because it was not like that from the beginning, it comes from the Sanskrit word from the tree of orange, naranja. And then the Arabs that were trading the fruit, and they spread it in Spain, which is also the word in Spanish. And then the word developed in Old French, orange, and now it's adopted in English as orange. So moving on to well-being, when I started reading about these words and did more research, I found a professor, psychologist in the University of London called Tim Lomas, and he has created a dictionary of all these words that belong to its category of every aspect of well-being. Because well-being is not just, for example, when you're happy with your partner or by doing your dream job, it's many things connected. And to that list of well-being, he has collected all words for its category, like strong relationships, connection, love, appreciation, personal development, attaining goals. There are so many. We don't have time to show you today, but yeah, I invite you to discover them. So we are talking about talking our feelings for all of these words that portray aspects of happiness. And we can develop ourselves when we can understand them and adapt them in our life. I read once in a book which is called Don't Believe a Word from David Sariat-Madari that the concept of untranslatable words is about keeps alive the possibility of escape, of something surviving far beyond our everyday experiences. And now take a moment to look around you and appreciate it. Okay, maybe not, maybe you're just fed up of being home, but okay, still there are many positive things, right? How does it feel? We are all so busy thinking about our problems, we might forget all the right things around us. Learning to appreciate can make us better people, and it shows us things that we were not expecting, right? It's like, hey, have a look at that. And like things like this, we see things from a different perception, and we can become more willing to consider new or different ideas. And also, we are not just talking about positive feelings, experiences, just positive stuff. We can both feel positive and negative. If some of you, for example, have your partner in another country and you can't see them because of the virus, this hurts you. This is a negative feeling. But you do love them. And you hope that the borders will open. That's a positive feeling. So negative feelings are also a value to happiness. Now let's say that you meet again your partner when this situation finishes, and it's called in French retrouvailles. When you meet someone again that you haven't seen for a long time. This image is actually from the movie Notebook. Okay, some spoiler here, sorry. I think in the end they met after 7 years. Okay, hopefully it won't take you 7 years like the movie. So sweet. Maybe you were betrayed and sad and disappointed by it. It's called in Polish żal. It's a very particular feeling, right? That was another example. And now moving on to how culture through language can influence the way we are. As Margaret McLaurin said, that it's the way we are both physically and mentally. Culture, for me, it's like a big yard of cultural differences and diversity. It's like about the way that people live, deal with others, express thoughts and emotions. It's also about how they respond to certain things in the history, right? So that's why sometimes we can say that we cannot understand our word if we are not in that culture. But for me, we can still, even if we get a sense of it, it can still offer us lessons. It still remains a benefit. For example, did you know that the Eskimos have many different words for snow? Well, of course, the Eskimo and English language can both express and name things related to snow. But why do they have so many words? Well, because their culture is impacted by the snow that surrounds them, but most English cultures are not. But English cultures, we have seen that they have many words about rain. Why? Well, I guess because it rains a lot in England, right? Well, culture through language can affect the way, it's about actually the way we experience and understand life. Other languages can reveal us unexplored experiences or feelings. And of course, a meaning of a word can change through time and history, right? But cultures create words to express their common life and challenges. Now, in terms of psychology, there is this term, it's called emotional granularity, and what it means when you're able to differentiate your feelings. So as Tim presents it in his research, it's about this circle, for example. I like to present it like that. It can be your experiential state space, your reality. And everything around this circle, this black, is our language borders. But don't worry, we are not locked up from our language. Even if we don't have a word for what we want to say, another language has. So researchers argue that discrete feelings come out from the way the person's culture has affected his language. And once we identify this region, this black there, we can come across our space by our boundaries from our language. And we can draw these boundaries again and expand our emotional granularity. And there are some researches that tested, for example, new therapies to learn more words that describe emotions. And they did a test about enriching their vocabulary for kids, actually, at school. And it showed that when they enriched this vocabulary, it had a positive impact to their abilities at school. And I like to connect this with the Sanskrit word sunyata. Actually, it's a Buddhist term about this promise of liberation, that it comes from seeing through the very boundaries that we have created. I find this term very liberating. So for me, it's like walking in a path in a park. Again, this photo is from Belgrade. So for me, it's like, you're in the park and you say, okay, let's take this path now. It's the same. It's that path to different people's realities. And this word realities is actually portrayed from one journalist that I read when I did my research. Her name is Steph Smith, and she also created a dictionary about those words. And she says this, that it's about realities. So for me, it's like a path about different realities and perception. And probably you know this quote up from Ludwig Wittgenstein, "The limits of my language are the limits of my world." Now I can understand this quote. And for me, it's like I look in the mirror and I learn from someone who has something in common with me. It's a me through you. And for that, there is a word very popular in Zulu. It's called Ubuntu. It's about, I find my worth in you and you find your worth in me. I read this somewhere. And actually, a very good definition of this word is from Laymak Bowe. It's about, I am what I am because of who we all are. So we're speaking about humanity towards others. And speaking about this philosophical sense of humanity, in my language, in Greek, we also have a word which is called philotimo. As a Greek, I can tell you it's really hard to actually explain this word. It's one of the highest Greek virtues. And if you ask Greeks, everybody will tell you something, a different meaning. And we can say for now that it's like about being good, about being selfless, about giving without wanting anything in return. And when you're just like getting uncomfortable to help someone connected to humanity, that, of course. So I would like now to show you a few things from Mr. Loma's research about the well-being. So these words can make I may better and fulfill our experiences. You can do and live something new, unfamiliar, or unknown. It's like a sign, the same things we all experience. By learning also those words, you can better have more clear emotions. You can be more open to diversity and learn to be more respectful and appreciative. And of course, we can improve the science of psychology. Why? Because we are exposed to new phenomena. And of course, you can better improve your know-how and your well-being. So when you're feeling that you have so many things that you want to do, and you are so stressed that you don't have time to reach all your goals, you're experiencing Torschlusspanik, as they say in German. Literally, it means get close in panic. It's when you're anxious that opportunities are shutting down around you, or maybe you're getting too old. Another word that I love is, again, from the Inuktitut language, Mami lapinatapai. Okay, this is also hard to pronounce. It's when two people are looking at each other. You have found yourself at this situation, I guess, and they both know what they want to say, the same thing, but nobody wants to start. Nobody wants to initiate the conversation. So we think mostly that it is a tool to communicate, language, of course, but it is something far from that. For me, it's like expressing what we think, what we feel, how we think, how we feel it. And in order to develop ourselves, we need to get out of our own way we think about something and discover other different truths. And I like using this word truth because for the other person, it's their reality. It's how they live it. And those truths are expressed through untranslatable words from different people around the world. Okay, one last example about one of my favorite words it comes from Portuguese. It's called saudade. Probably you know it. It's very popular. It's this deep emotional, melancholic state when you are longing for someone or something that is not there. So, to recap, untranslatable words can broaden your meaning of happiness. You can better identify your emotions. You can better communicate your thoughts. You can expand your horizons, your perspective, and learn from others, and explore other cultures. And okay, right now that we cannot travel, I find this a great way that we can explore other truths, other cultures' truths with untranslatable words. So when you see an untranslatable word, question yourself to find it. What is it about? And then bring life to it. I invite you to engage with experiences you did not meet before, understand your emotions, and see how favorable this world is of language diversity. And you know, untranslatable words are a great chance to enlarge our borders by learning, understand and understand it and question ourselves about them. I invite you to explore them more. And you will see that untranslatable words do make us a favor. Thank you. So now I would like to invite you to become a pochamuchka, which is called in Russian, someone who asks too many questions. Thank you very much. This is my contact information in case you want to contact me after this presentation. So let's now answer some of your questions. Okay. Eva, can you recommend any books about this topic? I can definitely recommend you. I have so many. Yes, one of them I can tell you now. It's called Translating Happiness from Tim Lomas. He explains his research and how he created this dictionary. And he also has another book that is called The Happiness Dictionary, where he analyzes all those words for every category. And one of my favorite books is from Alex Rawlings. It was the first book actually that I mentioned in the beginning. It's called From Amourette to Jal. Jal, actually. And yes, he has many of those words from his experience, and he explains them, and it's very also easy to read. The book from Tim Lomas is more academic, I would say, the first book that I mentioned, but I absolutely enjoyed all of them. And actually, I discovered them after, like, I started being really fascinated about it, and then I found these books. Another question. Okay. Did you happen to use these words in conversations? Yes, actually, many times. And some of my friends were telling me, what was it? What does that mean? So there were times, for example, I can tell you another word from Serbian. It's called merak, and it's when you are, it's also similar, this feeling about this contentment of feeling happy. And I used it many times. Oh, how this is merak, you know, that I am experiencing right now with you guys. And it made me feel really, really like calm, you know. And yeah, I use them. I try to use them. Or sometimes my friends tell me about something or an experience I'm feeling, and I tell them, you're experiencing that, or check out this word, and actually this means, you know, I do that. Another question. Did you happen to use? Did you happen to? No. Sorry, I was reading the same question. Okay, so here is one interesting question. Do you think giving a name to a phenomenon affects our attitude towards that? Yes, I believe that, because it's actually that, because psychology also says that when you can label feelings, experiences, or this phenomena, you can better understand it. So it's more clear. And when you can better understand it, maybe you were thinking about it differently. And you can change your attitude. Yes, actually, I found myself to be more open to many things and appreciate new things. I hope that helps. Okay. Another question. I'm sorry, there's so many questions. Which words had the biggest impact on you and changed the way you saw life? Actually, all of them that I shared with you today. And there are so many. Like, I really wish I could put them in the. I cut out so many, and there are so many that actually I could describe the situation now. There are so many words about the lockdown. Like, there is one word called uterpils. It's I don't remember where it comes from. It's probably from a minority language. I'm sorry, I don't remember it. But it means when you're sitting outside and you're drinking beer in the sun. So yeah. Yeah, there are so many words that actually impacted me, and most of them were when I could actually identify my feelings. And especially when I talked about, for example, that hard period, actually they told me, you can't understand what's going on. There are so many things happening, you're blocked. And I was blocked. And actually they were asking me, how do you feel now? And I didn't know what to say, because everything was just really difficult. And, you know, it's like automatic. You have I was blocked, like, and actually I gave time to myself, relaxed, read things, and slowly I discovered things to identify, like ikigai, and many other. Okay, it's not just about those funny untranslatable words, but it's also about those feelings. But there are so many, like, and during reading at that point, you know, sometimes you don't think about it at that specific moment. It's like psychotherapy. Like, you will do something in the session. It's not like at that moment you will change, but it stays in your mind, and through time, maybe you will see it in front of you. So all those words, maybe I have read some now, and maybe I will have an experience later, and it will come out, and I will know what it is. Yeah, I hope it was not too messy, my response, but it's really a hard topic when you're talking about identifying emotions, right? It's very difficult to do that. Another question. What untranslatable word is the hardest to explain? I don't know. I think all of them, you know, it depends. There are many words that you can give a meaning in one other word, 2 words, maybe. but there are so many. Even myself, like I haven't learned all of the untranslatable words that exist in this world, and it's like it's what I love. It's a big journey in language learning, and through that you can learn of them. The most difficult ones till now, I can say, were the ones that were more philosophical, you know, like and those who have some cultural background, and like Sunyata, for example. I think it's an Indian also as well. Like it's a Buddhist term, and like if you now in this presentation, didn't have time to put all the meanings, but what happens with untranslatable words is that you see the meaning, and when you go further and further to explore its meaning, you can find many things. Ikigai, if you search what is ikigai, like it has so many meanings about happiness, and for someone it might be really difficult to explain that. Like for me, I might need 10 minutes to explain you this word. But you need to explore it. You need to read about it, to find it out. Sorry. Okay, we have a few minutes. Great positive energy. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm very. It's a subject that actually I am very passionate about it, and I really wanted to share with you guys. Do you want to learn a Slavic language? Yes, of course. Actually, I love Slavic languages. I'm learning Serbian. I have many Serbian friends, and I think it was another question related to that. How many languages do you speak? I wouldn't say that I speak too many, but I just invest a lot of time to each one of them. So I speak, of course, Greek and English. Yeah. Now I'm in Geneva, so I speak French. I speak German. I speak Italian. Okay, it's been some time that I last spoke Italian, and I speak some basic Serbian, but I cannot do like a conversation. But I absolutely love Slavic languages and their culture, and yes, and what I like, for example, is that, for example, the word merak, we also have a similar word, which is called meraki. It's when you do things with positivity. Yeah, it's very remarkable that we have many words in common, like from the way we have lived, like the culture, because our cultures are also not very far away. Oh, I want to answer every question. Let's go a little bit. Are there some words who change concretely some of your habits in daily life? Very fast, we have 1 minute. Yeah, about language learning, actually, I developed the ability to notice. And when I'm speaking with in an international environment, because there are so many people from other cultures, I try to notice if they use some word I don't know, or it's weird, you know. And my habit, yes, it made me actually. I am trying to identify my feelings now, and to understand what is happening around me. What is this thing that I'm experiencing? And when you do that, it's a journey. You know, it's a great way of personal development, and it was a great way for me to learn how to do that in other aspects of life. So we are finishing. Thank you very much, guys. If you have more questions, or you will want to send me your untranslatable words, you can contact me. And actually, if I didn't answer any question, I will post my answers. So yeah, thank you very much. And I hope to see you everybody next year in Poland. Thank you.